What's up, everybody? It's Jeremy from WeldTec Designs, and today we are hanging out in yet another parking lot to show you two very similar yet kind of different motorhomes. You, by first glance, you're gonna be like, well, those are two really cool Class A's. And yes, they are cool. This is an Access. You've seen the Vegas as well. These are both made by Thor. However, this is a newer model. This is the Freedom Traveler, also by Thor. And we wanna talk about, talk about these motorhomes. I love doing all sorts of things to them. And if you've been on the website or been watching the videos, you can see that our product line for these motorhomes have been growing. And I want to create an awareness as well, especially when it comes to like our front bumpers and our rear bumpers on these. We also have a radiator grill guard for them as well, which is huge. And let's talk about some of these differences and why, even if you don't do suspension on your motorhome, I would definitely consider doing a radiator guard on there. You can see that these gaps are giant in there, and right behind it, you're gonna have your radiator as well as another separate cooler in there. And we make a aluminum mesh that goes in there to protect all of those important pieces, because we want to make sure that you get to your destination. So I will tell you, the one big difference that I see between both of these motorhomes is going to be in the Freedom Traveler. The refrigerator is actually going to be on the passenger side of the RV, which is kind of nice. However, you do lose a lot of counter space, but that counter space that you lose, you gain in a larger bathroom, which is important, because I feel like in the Access or Vegas, if you're a bigger person, like that bathroom is really small. And if you want to know more about that, head over to Big J's RVs, and we are going to be doing a full walkthrough on this. You can check that out. If you want to know more, maybe you're interested in an Access or Vegas, I got all kinds of videos coming out talking about the big differences between them. So let's talk about the first thing. If you have one of these motorhomes, it has this really low entry step, and then you even have the skirting going down below it. A lot of times we see these completely broken, and you can see that they've actually drugged this all down the side of it just because how low this is. It's about 5 inches off the ground. So it becomes the lowest point in the RV. And of course, we don't want you dragging it or damaging your body, especially when you get into a brand new coach. So definitely that's it. This person has obviously put some racing stripes going down the side of it, which lead me to the back of it, and we want to talk about these fenders. So one of the biggest things that we've noticed on these motorhomes is the body not being straight, or the wheel well not being cut perfectly center of it. And if we're gonna take our handy dandy finger measurements, and if we put them in there, you'll notice I have about 3 fingers on the front of this between the tire and the fender. Now, when you put larger tires on that, it really accentuates it. But as we go around to the other side, you're gonna come in here, and this has kind of been already damaged right here, but you can see I'm like nearly 4 fingers on this side in my gap. So when I put a spring on it, I put a larger tire on it, it gets closer, you kind of notice it a little bit more. A lot of people are like, well, maybe the axle's crooked. Well, we've even taken measurements from the rear of the coach to this end point, and those will be different on both sides as well. Another big thing, when we do our front bumpers on these, we've also found that the front of this coach, we've seen up to 2 inches in one direction or the other. And I'll actually take a measurement of this and show you where we're at on this coach. I'm also gonna show you the other coach as well, because I want you to see that it's not like just a one-off sort of like, oh, well, maybe it was just that motorhome. We'll go to the back of this one as well. And when we do that same thing, like if we go even to the rear portion of this, you can see we're about 3 fingers right here on the back portion of this fender well. So showing you the difference between them. And as we come around to the other side, this one's a little bit closer. So we're like 3 1/4. So it's not terrible. Here we're about 4. I should have done that just easily on the other side. Another thing that on the Thor Access Vegas and now the Freedom Traveler, a lot of these don't have a ton of storage. So on the back of the Freedom Traveler, we're actually gonna do a dual swing rear bumper, which will be really cool. So you can see here, I'm like 3 fingers, could almost get that 4th one in there. So definitely not as far off on this particular motorhome, but all of these seem to be off, and just kind of want to make you aware of that. Of course, if you have an Access, a Vegas, or a Freedom Traveler, I would love to hear from you guys. What is your biggest concerns? What do you love about it? What do you hate about it? Because we love the community, love really making these rides significantly better, like night and day difference. Well, the only thing better than 1 RV completed is how about 2? And here it is behind us, guys. We have the Freedom Traveler and the Thor Access. So actually both of these products are made by Thor. And we showed you how boring they were when they were stock, and now how awesome are they while they're lifted. So we've done complete suspension packages on both of these RVs, and let me show you the differences between the two. First, over here on my right, this is going to be a 4-inch suspension package, no wheels and tires, and then we have here a 6-inch suspension package with tires. So a little bit giving you 2 different kind of perspectives to really help you decide what it is that you want to do with your Thor Access, your Thor Vegas, or now your Freedom Traveler, guys. So let's talk about really the biggest thing that you're going to notice if you were to do a suspension package from WeldTec Designs. Now here's the thing, is all these other things that you could do to them or people suggest you do to them are not going to gain you any additional height in the RV, making this entry step really low. And originally we noticed that that step was just a few inches off the ground, and actually as I come down here I never noticed this. Pretty new RV, you can see that it is actually already drug along this whole step, because normally this thing's about 4 inches off the ground, and everyone's like, well, how do I get it higher? And people are like, oh, put airbags on it, put all the Band-Aid stuff, that normal things that people are gonna say. So here at WeldTec Designs, I can't even say my own name, WeldTec Designs. So what we did in this is going to be a new coil spring. The coil spring is going to give us the height that we want. We're going to control that height and the ride now with a 2.0 Fox shock. That's really key to this. We did Fox shocks at all 4 corners. Now that's a gas pressured shock with an internal floating piston. Now that could mean nothing to you, but in a nutshell, what that's going to mean is it's going to have a bigger piston than most other shocks, especially the shocks that are gold or fool's gold. We've also done an extended radius arm. The big benefit in that extended radius arm is that's going to put more caster in your vehicle. Caster is going to help your vehicle go straight down the road. And by having it be longer, you're going to have less caster change as your vehicle's suspension is actually working. To finish this off up in the front, we do a steering stabilizer in it as well. And you can think of a steering stabilizer as a shock for your steering wheel. It's really going to absorb all the bumps, dips, and crap that you hit in the road, potholes, things of that nature, where typically you might hit a pothole and you feel like the steering wheel wants to jerk out of your hands. That's going to reduce that overall feeling. Now, here's the thing with these coaches, and I want to tell you this, is this coach from the factory is it's built on actually a Class C chassis, and this front portion of the coach is significantly heavier than a Class C. Now the downfall of what that is you get a lot more body roll, and then it's accentuated because really your seats are like right over kind of the axle, so you just kind of feel like it's all over the place, and that's really eliminated pretty significantly with a kit from WeldTec Designs. Now the other big problem in these RVs is going to be the frowning leaf springs. And you may be saying, like, what do you mean frowning leaf springs? Well, they look sad because they have a huge negative arc to the spring. Now once that spring has that negative arc, it's really impossible to ever get that spring to really ride good at all. So what we've done in the back of this is we've added a full set of progressive leaf springs. You can see how much arc is in that spring, and that's really significant because the springs are actually built to the weight of the coach. Go figure. You know, you think the manufacturer would just do that from the beginning. Because really, if I were to look at this coach the way that it sits right now, I'm thinking, well, yeah, that looks great. That should be how they come from the factory. However, it's not whatsoever. So that is a 4-inch kit suspension package in a nutshell from WeldTec Designs. Now really, when we come over here and we look at this second RV, and keeping in mind if you did want to go bigger tires, you can go bigger tires on a 4-inch kit as well. Another thing, I guess, before we talk about suspension on this 6-inch kit, I really want to talk about this. This is something really cool. So on the Access or Vegas, you can see both of these have these really big slots between them. Well, right behind that is going to be your radiator and an intercooler back there, or a transmission cooler. And really, we want to eliminate the chance for those taking debris or rocks. So you can see in both of these, we've added this mesh in here. This is a radiator guard, or what we call the radiator guard. And we make them for the Freedom Traveler, the Access, and the Vegas. So if you're wanting to give your front end some protection, this is a fairly easy install. You could do it at home, but really nice overall. It's all aluminum, and it's gonna give you that protection you need and really you want, because we want you to be driven further and make sure that you get to your destination. So you can see now we've gone a little bit higher. This is a 6-inch suspension package. Same, ideally, components. It's still going to consist of Fox shocks, coil springs, extended radius arms, a steering stabilizer as well, just larger components. But really the idea is just to give you a better ride, and now even more clearance. I mean, look at how much clearance this has down the side of it. And especially, like, you know, now these don't have the black and gray water like most Class C's do in the back, but you can see a ton of clearance all the way down this. This is also gonna have a bigger progressive spring in the rear. And now this is something really cool as well, guys, because if you have a Thor, Access, or Vegas, maybe you know or don't, they don't come with a spare tire. So if you're going to be doing significant traveling, you don't have roadside assistance, or maybe you even have roadside assistance, but you don't want to pay $1 million for them to bring you a tire. Well, now you can run a tire on the back of this. And now what's really nice about this is going to swing out of the way. So it's still going to give you full access to your rear storage. This is also going to get a folding table mount on there as well. As then on this side over here, we will be adding a storage box to the back of this in order to give you more storage, because you can never have too much storage. Now with the additional height, you know, getting up onto the ladder can be difficult. You can see that we've added a lower step down here to make it easier to access the roof if you are going to need to get up there. So really trying to cover all of the little things that you may want to do with your Freedom Traveler, your Thor Access, or your Thor Vegas. So just kind of wanted to walk through and show you this. It's not very often that we have, usually I feel like we get multiple and they're all getting the same lift. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to not only show you the Freedom Traveler, this is a new 2025 edition, but also the Access. I mean, both of these coaches are beautiful. But I think that's all I got for you. Go ahead, leave a comment down below or give us a call. We'd love to help you guys out. Otherwise, I'm Jeremy from WeldTec Designs. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.